What's going on YouTube? Derpidor Weldor here, coming at you with another video. So I'm going to give a brief update on everything we got going on here. We got a lot of stuff in the shop, and we're going to get into the content of this video, talk about rig trucks, because everyone loves rig trucks. And now 5 years into this, a good solid 5 years into this, I think I have a lot more experience about rig trucks to be giving a lot more wisdom about it than what I had in some of my other videos. So this will definitely be a looking back on 5 years and what I wish I would have done with some of my other trucks up to this point, and what my advice would be to somebody who is making their way up to this level. So let's get to it. So as y'all can see here, the shop is just full of new tools. Sheet brake, finally made a proper stand for the bench grinder, a pipe bender. Some of this stuff's been here a while. It's just finally pulled it out so I could use it. Like that pipe bender, this shop press here, which needs a new cylinder. We finally ditched a chop saw, got rid of the abrasive chop saw, and went and bought an Evolution multi-material miter saw. Way, way, way better than a chop saw. Once you get something like this, you'll never use a chop saw again. And I got this particular one because I want all the miter features. The miter features are probably the best thing about this saw, is you can freaking sit here and cut miters on stuff. Even 316, we're cutting a bunch of 316 stainless here, you can see. And it just eats through the 316 just like regular mild steel. This thing right here, definitely worth the money. And pull out a drop here we cut on this. Check that out. That is 10" by half flat bar. This saw, yes, this saw with this blade, I got a Diablo blade on here. The Evolution blades are garbage. It cuts this. And look at that. Nice and clean. Almost a mirror-like finish right there. You can't beat that. Can't beat that at all. So, chop saw, bye-bye. No more chop saw. And I got this little cheap Ryobi, because, you know, Ryobi's supposed to be cheap garbage. But I was actually very surprised. Got this on sale. It was Black Friday sale. Back in October, 60 bucks. Got this thing for like 60 bucks, all steel. You can't make something better for 60 bucks. That's the whole thing about this, is I'm not spending the time to make it when I can buy this, and this will do exactly what I need it to do. So I just bought it already built. And tools are more organized. They're up on the wall. We can actually get to them and see them. I got a project lathe here. That's kind of, as I work on it, you know, spend $1 here, spend $1 there on it, but whatever. All sorts of stuff. And then you can see out there on the 350, it's my new Lincoln SA200 sitting out there, or new to me, SA200. That truck will get its own dedicated video here in the future. So, what we're talking about here, we're going to be talking about rig trucks. And you know, there's a lot to be said about the whole rig truck thing, right? You know, what kind of truck is the best truck to start off with? Half ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, dually, single rear wheel, etc., etc. So, let me try to put this in something reasonable, right? We're going to assume the scenario is so, right? Because we can go pipeline and rig work. Like that kind of stuff is its own category. But we're going to talk about you are trying to start your own little local mobile welding business, going around fixing, repairing, doing handrails, little construction stuff, things like that. Things of that nature. What is the best rig truck for you in that particular scenario? The best truck for you in that scenario is, if you already have a truck, is probably the truck you already have. Unless there is something seriously wrong with the truck you already have, I would say your best rig truck to start with is the one you already have. Say you got a freaking 90s Chevy 1500 or a F-150 or a Dodge Ram 1500 or something like that. And that's what you have and you're starting out. You get you a welding machine, throw it in there, there's your rig truck. That's how it is. Start like that. Even if you have a 4x8 trailer, you can get a cheap 4x8 trailer and put your welding machine on there. And say you got like an SUV or something, well, get a cheap 4x8 trailer, put your welding machine on that 4x8 trailer. Use what you have first. There is no need to go well. And if you already have a truck or an SUV or something of that nature, there is no need for you to go and buy another truck at that moment, right? We're talking just starting off, right? You don't need to go buy anything else right now. What you need to do is make money. And say you got a 90s Ram 1500, and that's what you're using for your rig truck, or a Chevy 1500 or whatever. Something of that category, which everybody around here seems to have one of those, a Chevy or a Ford of that nature, 90s or early 2000s around here. So we'll just say that. You say you already have one of those, all right? It's not in the best of condition, right? But it works. You get in there, and most of the time you turn the key, it starts. Once that truck starts making you money, now it becomes something that's worth fixing up. Like, you may settle with, oh, it doesn't start every time I turn the key, right? It might need new this or new that, or new piddly this or new piddly that. Yeah, it might need all that stuff. And yeah, you can bite your pennies as you do some jobs. You can collect that money together, and you can start fixing up that truck and getting it all fine-tuned and working like it's supposed to. I would say that's how you start, right there. That's how you start. If you don't have a truck, say all you have is a car, this is more complicated. 3/4, 1 ton, let's say you could only have one, right? Let's say you could only have one. Let's say one truck, right? Maybe you live in an apartment and you have a car and you can only have one more spot for a work truck, right? So let's do that. What I would recommend is getting a decent condition used 3/4 ton truck. Gas, diesel, probably gas, because that's what you're going to find cheaper. I wouldn't try to spend more than $6,000 on the truck. Try your very best to buy it straight out, no debt, if you can. If you can't, put down the biggest down payment you can on it, all right? Don't be in debt any longer than you have to. Put down the biggest down payment on it. Get that truck in your name as soon as possible. What I would recommend is, if you can get one, you're getting your first truck, you're buying your first truck. Probably you'll see the old U-Haul pickup trucks. You can get those, the old Home Depot or Lowe's Rent Me trucks. You can get those state auctioned off DOT trucks. You can get those with the service body. I'd preferably try to find one you're just starting off and you don't have room to really work on your own equipment. Definitely with a flatbed or a service body on it already. Start like that. Make it simple for you. You don't have to go crazy and be like, I need this big custom bed. And you're talking to a guy who, all my trucks have custom beds. You don't need a custom bed. A good flatbed, a service body, especially when you really think about a service body is the most efficient use of tool storage on your truck. It's actually more efficient than all the beds I've built for my truck. But my trucks are trying to serve a certain purpose. The service body doesn't necessarily serve that. But a service body truck or a flatbed truck, you know, an old rental truck or whatever, get one. Try not to spend more than $5 or $6 grand on it. You know, go with that old U-Haul, whatever. Just get something along those lines. Something cheap, affordable. They're probably, since they're rentals, they're all going to be gas. So I'm just assume they're going to be gas. And so yeah, something along those lines. Definitely try to go for a 3/4 ton. If you have to settle with a 1/2 ton, you know, so be it. Right? A 1/2 ton's not the end of the world. But the 1/2 ton will eventually require upgrades to keep going. As I've experienced with my 1/2 ton trucks, is if you want to keep using them after a certain point of putting more gear and more gear and more gear on them, you have to buy springs, you have to buy better brakes, etc., etc. 3/4 ton, that's not an issue. You know, it's kind of keeping it simple. 3/4 ton was kind of built for that from the ground up, versus the 1/2 ton, which was basically built to drive into town back and forth, pick up a couple bales of hay and stuff like that. And the 3/4 ton was meant for, I'm going to leave 1,000 pounds of gear in the back of the truck and haul a trailer, right? That's my recommendation right there if you're buying a truck, right? So I definitely will say, a lot of people they like their new trucks, all right? That's fine. If you can get a new truck and afford a new truck, that's great. Don't think you're going to get a new truck right off the bat. You're like saying, I want to start my welding business tomorrow. Don't go to the dealership. For the love of God, don't put yourself in that situation. You are not going to make enough money starting off. It'll take you 5-6 years before your business is going enough that you can justify a new truck. Don't do it. If you go to dealership, starting off right now and get you a truck and get in that debt, your business will never make enough money to cover that truck. Now, if you go get a used $6,000 truck, you'll be lucky if your business covers that the first year, all right? But if you go spend $40,000, $50,000 on a truck, and that's kind of cutting it low there, 40, 50 grand on a truck, especially the way the market is right now, you go spend that, it'll take you years for that before that truck starts paying for itself. Because what you want is you want your equipment to be paying you. My trucks pay me. I own the truck. I don't pay for the truck. The truck pays me. That's how you want your tools to be. That's why I have all these tools. I don't rent tools. Like some people say, you know, oh, there's no point owning a mag drill when you can go rent one. Yeah, but I literally the other day went and did a job. I went and drilled 8 holes and got $200. I only turned on my welder long enough to plug in the mag drill, punch 8 holes with it, got $200. I mean, the mag drill's paying me. If I had to go rent the tool, it wouldn't work out that way, because I'd be spending almost that much just in renting the tool for the hour, right? So that just doesn't make sense. Own your equipment. But anyway, that kind of rabbit trailed right there. Eventually, you're going to figure out what kind of truck you want, right? And everybody can throw their personal preference out there. We can all sit here, new, almost new, lightly used, less than 5 years, less than 10 years, 90s, 70s, 80s, diesel, gas, big block, Cummins, Power Stroke, Duramax. We can throw all that stuff out there, right? And muddy up the water. But at the end of the day, it's when you go to buy the truck you want, it's basically at the end of the day, it's got to be the truck you want. And a truck you're going to be happy with over the long run. Once you finally, you're making money and stuff, then you go, okay, this is the truck I really want. This is the truck I see myself working out of for the next 10 years. In my case, the truck I see myself working out of for the next 10 years happens to be a 1974 F350. That's me. That's not you or you or you or you or you. That's not everyone here. Some of y'all are going to be like, well, if I want to work out this truck for the next 10 years and that my business is now making money, I'm going to the Chevy dealership or the Ford dealership or a Dodge dealership, and I'm going to get me a brand new 1-ton dually, and I'm slapping a $3,000 pipeliner's bed kit on there because that's what I'm going to be happy with for 10 years. And you know what? If you can justify it and the ends justify the means at that point, like you're making the money to justify all of that, then yes, of course. But don't be thinking I'm going to start tomorrow with that truck, right? It's not going to happen, all right? Even if you go get the big business loans, you will lose that in the first couple years. You're going to lose it all. It'll all be gone. You'll be underwater. Don't fall for that. Don't take business loans to start off. It's a horrible way to get started because you are not guaranteed that your business is going to make a crap ton of money right out the gate. Anyone who says, go get a loan to start off and go get you this and go get you that and go get you this with that loan and just pay the loan back as you make money, they don't know what they're talking about, all right? It may have worked for them in their particular case, but you got to understand that's a gamble, and it's not, and if it works, then great. It may work that 1 time or 2 times, but it's not smart. It's not wise. The sure thing that will work, no matter what the situation is what I just told you. No matter how much money you make, what I just told you will work if you want it to. All right? Remember that. Loans, keep them to a minimum. Buy tools as you need them. Save your money. That is the only way you're going to be successful at this. All right? So, thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but I sat down and I saw a lot of people, you know, like, where are you at? Where are you at? Well, I'm alive. I'm still well. It's just been a while. I've been busy. I have a lot of stuff going on here in the shop. I've been really busy. I've just rebuilt the motor for that F350, and there's a few other things I'm going to do to it, and that truck is basically a brand new truck, just like my F-150 is. My F-150 has been a new truck for like 2 years, but the 350, once it's together, it's going to be kind of my main truck, and my 150 is going to suddenly kind of sit back as more of a backup. As I'm finding, like I was talking about, a half ton eventually kind of starts to wear. going hours and hours and hours and hours. I've been doing this work where I go drive 3 hours, work here for 10, stay tonight, drive back, and all this just ridiculous work. I got government contracts now with the military, and I've been driving to Fort Bragg and doing work down there and coming back here, and it's really good money. The F-150 is showing wear. It's all the highway miles on a half ton with all that equipment. It's just, it isn't taking it well. And the Bobcat, I'm sitting there running that thing 10 hours a day while I'm down there. And yeah, the Bobcat, okay, it runs 10 hours a day, and I go home and I don't run it for 2 or 3. That's fine. But these jobs, I've been having to pull out 100 to 200 feet of cable, and the Bobcat does not like pushing 150 to 200 amps across 200 feet of cable. The SA200 will do it all day long and never skip a beat. Definitely sucks not having AC power, but I'm going to go over how I get around that in another video. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and y'all have a fantastic day.